It's a pleasure to welcome you to this webinar. I am hopeful that we can get all the kind of technological kind of side all kind of working today, because it's going to be a very exciting talk about the experience of students in our international colleges in London, in Cambridge and Manchester. I'm specifically going to be focusing on the London students today. But we have a lot of different nationalities in the college. We've got over 57 different nationalities within the college. We're very, very lucky. And I'm very thankful for the number of students who've agreed to kind of be part of this webinar today. So I'm going to be sharing my screen in a few moments, but just before that, just to give you a quick brief introduction from me. So my name is Tom Hadcroft. I'm the Vice Principal Pastoral at DLD College. I've been there for 4 years now, and my focus is obviously on the pastoral side, which is the tutoring, the boarding, and really the kind of safeguarding of the students as well, making sure that they are as safe as possible in our setting. So today I'm just going to share the screen now. I've got a presentation that we first are going to just have a quick look at. So let me just share this with you. Okay, so as I said, we are looking today at the boarding and studying in the UK and international student perspective. So with that, let me just work on this. Let's see if that works there. Okay, so as you know, there are 3 colleges in the Abbey DLD college group. So there's ourselves on the left, London campus on Westminster Bridge Road, bang opposite the Houses of Parliament. We've got Cambridge there in the middle, really located, an excellent modern and 21st century kind of. And there again on the right hand side is Abbey College Manchester. Very central location, again, very exciting, vibrant city. So just going on to the format of today, we're going to go through introductions in a moment. That's the introductions of the students who are going to all talk to you, just introduce themselves, give you an idea of which year groups they're in, the kind of studying and their kind of where they're from, where they're speaking to you from today. And they're going to go through different areas of focus, as you can see there, just to give you a kind of perspective on some of their decisions, some of the things that they decided on, some of their experiences once they've actually came into the college, so they can share those with you. And then, as John said, I think that we're going to try and pull together some of the questions that you may be kind of pondering on over the course of this presentation, and then pull that together at the end so that we can maybe direct some of those questions to relevant people, whether it's myself, John, or individual students who have picked out certain aspects within the presentation itself. So the students that you're going to be hearing from today are 8 students across our student body, and we're going to just go through this list. So we're going to start from top left, going across, and then from the bottom left, going across as well. So Sophia, can you start, please? So hopefully like I said, all the technology will work at this point. So Sophia, can you just introduce yourself? So unmute your microphone and just give us an introduction.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you, sir. Good morning or afternoon to everyone. It's still morning in Italy. It's quite sunny here. My name is Sophia, and I'm currently a year 12 student studying mostly humanitarian subjects and at DLD's A-levels program.
Okay, thank you, Sophia. And you said you're in Italy. Which part of Italy are you in at the moment?
I'm in Milan at the moment.
Fantastic. Okay, so Sophia's in the north of Italy in Milan. Fantastic. So thank you for that. Charlotte, moving across to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Charlotte Annabella. Right now I'm residing in the Hampshire countryside, but usually I'm all the way in Canada. Right now I'm studying the 1-year GCSE course, which I just happened to finish actually, and I'm progressing on to A-levels next year.
Thank you. Okay, so Charlotte's based in the UK. Thanks so much for that. And Zara, over to you.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Zara. I am 17 years old. I am currently back home in Iran, and I am a year 12 student, and I'll be doing my last year in DLD next year.
Perfect. Thank you, Zara. Okay, and next is Tudor.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Tudor. I'm from Romania. I'm in DLD College London. I study maths, economics, and history, and it's great.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Tudor. Now moving down onto the second row down. So Juan, would you like to start us off there?
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Juan. I'm 16 and I'm studying A-level. I do computer science, mathematics, and Spanish. And yeah, that's about me.
And where are you based at the moment, Juan?
I'm in Spain right now. I'm Spanish, in Barcelona.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks, Juan. Okay, over to you. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Sophia and I'm currently a year 12 student and I'm back home in Iran right now.
Great. Thank you, Sophia. Mahira.
Hi everyone, I'm Mahira. I'm 18 and I'm in year 12. I'm doing my A-levels in psychology, business, and sociology, and I'm currently in Bangladesh.
That's great. Thanks ever so much, Mahira. And finally, Adam.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm in year 12 studying A-levels, business, maths, and psychology. I'm in London right now with the lockdown, so it's going well. And yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you, Adam. So that's great to hear. Goodness me, fingers crossed everything was going to work because it was going to work there in terms of technology, and it has, I'm very glad to say. It's great to hear from all our students, and as we can obviously understand and appreciate at the moment, they're distributed all over the UK and all over the world in terms of their distribution at the moment, and they've been obviously studying they've been studying online, remote learning for the past weeks or few weeks, and so it'd be good obviously to touch base probably about their experiences with that later on. But in terms of our kind of session today, we're going to start off with the very beginnings, just as students first arrive and join DLD. And Juan is going to give us a little bit of a description about his own experiences, about his arrival in the UK and his first impressions of the college. So Juan, over to you.
Thank you, Tom. So before getting to the UK, I had a feeling that British people were kind of going to be unfriendly because of their conservativeness. But when I got to the airport, I felt very welcomed by the staff. At first, I thought that they had been trained to be welcoming, but later I found out that like most British people are like that. It's true that British people can be reserved, but they're very polite, they're very friendly and loyal once you befriend them. And especially in our boarding school, which is a very welcoming community. Now, I was also worried that I wouldn't have as much fun in London as I do in Barcelona. But then I found out that in London, there are so many activities you can do to stay entertained. Whether you go watch a play, go shopping, or visit a restaurant, it's always a new and fun experience. Also, there are plenty of parks in London where you can sit on the grass with your friends, go to exercise, and more. And for transport, you have the London Tube, which can seem a little intimidating at first, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to go anywhere in the city. The tube takes you to basically any place, and if there's no station at a certain place, there's always a bus that takes you to that place. So the transport is really good. Now the weather, it's a very controversial topic. I personally love the weather in London. When I got there, there was more rain than I expected. And obviously it gets hot in the summer and cold in the winter, but it's not extreme enough to consider it a challenge. In the winter, if you're wearing appropriate clothes, you should be fine. And I recommend that you are always prepared for rain, even if it does not look like it's going to rain. Those were my first impressions when I came to the UK.
Great, thank you, Juan. So in terms of, I suppose, what you expected from your first few days within the college as well, how did you feel that first few days went? I mean, it must be quite quite daunting to come to a new place, a new kind of a whole new place to live, to all of those things. Because I take a border before. So how was that whole experience, the first few days?
I was very anxious. When I got to DLD, I was really nervous, but the first thing you want to do, I'd recommend to make plenty of friends. At first, I found some Spanish people to stick with for a bit. And after I felt comfortable, I befriended as many people as I could. And you'll really, like, anyone can fit into DLD's community, I'm confident. So as long as you make friends, you should be fine. You'll feel comfortable later on. And that's great. It's normal to be anxious at first.
Great. Okay. So those were your first impressions. Certainly, kind of coming into the boarding side, and we're here later on about the boarding at DLD. But obviously, it's important that the students feel very feel very reassured, I think, in those very few days, because it's a very nerve-wracking time. But we've got very key trained staff to try and help and assist with that. So thank you, Juan, for your first impressions. It's very useful to know. And it's obviously important that you get used to things like the transport and also the weather. So it's good to hear about. Okay, so moving on. We're going to move on to Sophia now, who's going to talk about cultural differences from home. So can you unmute, Sophia, and over to you. Thanks.
Hello, yes. So before DLD, I used to attend an international school in Tehran. And my school was run by the Italian embassy. Therefore, there were quite a few foreign students in every class. But as the years went by, less and less people joined our school. We were always a very small community that just started getting smaller with time. And other than people attending the few international schools, you don't see too many foreigners living in Iran unless they're here for business or just visiting. And that's unfortunate because Iran is a wonderful country with so much culture, but it lacks opportunities. However, ever since I moved to London, I got to experience what it's really like to be part of an international community filled with people from different cultural backgrounds, with different mentalities and experiences. And what I really like about DLD is the feeling of acceptance that you get not only from the students and the staff, but also from the environment. The flags hung up all around the atrium, the global kitchen, all the international celebrations, they all contribute in making everyone at DLD feel welcome. Also, being in central London has been a huge plus. Every walk down Westminster Bridge is like an experience on its own, as you come across different people speaking different languages and doing different activities. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, thanks, Sophia. So in terms, I mean, it is a global city. London is a very, very global city. What kind of benefits do you've had from just living in London and, kind of having all those kind of experiences and the different influences around you?
So yeah, first off, I think that obviously the people, that's one thing that I consider a huge benefit of living in London, getting to know so many international people, because as I said, in Iran, there aren't too many foreigners unless they're attending international schools. And also living in central London, there are so many activities you can do that I wasn't able to do here in Iran, because everything is so accessible and so close by to our school. And so you can just quickly go grab some lunch or do any activity you want in, within like 5 minutes walk. So that's also a great experience.
That's great, fantastic. And just going back onto, you said about kind of celebration, you know, the international celebrations that we celebrate within the college. Can you give an example of, you know, a time or an event you've been part of where you've really enjoyed being part of that kind of celebrational kind of celebration?
Yeah, well, this year, obviously, it was cut short, but there were a lot of celebrations such as Chinese New Year, there was Christmas, and what I really liked was that the Global Kitchen also really contributed to making that event feel very lively by serving different foods. And so what I really liked was that during Chinese New Year, we got to experience enjoying their cuisine. And yeah, I think that was one of the celebrations that I enjoyed since I didn't really know much about it.
Good, fantastic. Okay, and then obviously we have also that kind of international day where you know, each country brings in their different plates of dishes, their costumes, their flags, their it's very interesting to see all those different things as well, isn't it? Getting a picture from each kind of country, I suppose, of some of those differences as well. So thank you, Sophia. That's really interesting. Thanks ever so much for your contribution there. Okay, and we're going to move now on to Zara, who's going to talk about the UK classroom culture.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Like Sophia, I'm from Iran. And like she said, we don't meet a lot of foreign people. And so when I first moved to London in 2018 to study my GCSEs, I found myself into this crowd of people who were just so different from who I expected and what I was used to back home. But then when I started my classes, met my classmates and everyone, I found myself just getting used to it day by day. And you just have to give it a little bit of time because, like everything else, it takes time for you to progress. And the culture was quite different from Iran, but I was doing my GCSEs, so I had plenty of time to get used to it, to move on to the more important courses that I would be doing like this year. So now I'm absolutely fine with it. My English has improved massively, which I'm grateful to my teachers. We have a really, really good academic English department, which really helps international students. And looking at the student part of it, when I first moved here, I thought that I wouldn't be so welcomed because I thought everyone would be so native here. But then I saw that London and DLD in particular is a very, very international place. And you can just find any nationality, any ethnicity you can think of here. In fact, I found a lot of Iranian friends, which was a shock to me. But then I made a lot of friends from everywhere around the world. And we're now like a big family doing our things together. And we all feel really welcomed.
That's great, Zara. Thanks ever so much. So just wondered what the kind of main differences were between, you know, the classrooms that you were experiencing back in, and then the classrooms that, you know, you were entering within the college, and you know, how that kind of transferred in terms of what you learned or how you learned.
Yeah, well, basically, the main thing international people struggle with when they move into a different country is the language, obviously, because you might know all of those lessons, you might know them, but you just can't transfer them in English. And that takes a little bit of time. But in some topics, such as math, you might not struggle that much because it doesn't need that much language. But then biology, chemistry, business, and those kind of topics need a lot of learning and time.
Okay, and the kind of classroom sizes that you are, you know, typically, or you are typically used to, is that typical of what you would be also having back in Iran, or, you know?
No, actually, when I was in Iran, our classes would be up to 30 people, maybe in some classes. But then here, the max number of people is 10 in my classes.
And how does that transfer into your own learning then?
I guess
that a
it's
benefit?
more comfortable. You're being more talked to from the teacher, you know? You have more time.
Good. Okay, great. Thank you, Zara. Okay, so we might be coming back to you with question and answers later on, but thanks ever so much for your contribution. And now we're going to go to Mahira, who's going to talk about the boarding culture.
Thank you,
Mahira.
Tom. Boarding at DLD is quite unique in comparison to other boarding schools, which I've personally been in, because it focuses on giving students the right balance of both pastoral care and freedom. If I were to give an example, every day after school, the older students, we don't have a timetable, so we're free to decide what to do at that time. So we can study anywhere in the college, such as the rooms, classrooms, kitchen, or study area. We can also use the college facilities, such as the gym or the pool, or we can just go out and explore the city. The pastoral element comes in because once a week we have assigned times in which we meet with our huddle house parents, so they can check on how we are, if we need anything. They give us new beddings and towels, and it's also the best opportunity to talk about issues that we might have. Another feature is that we have a system. So everyone, when we first come to the college, we're assigned to huddles based on gender, age, and floor, which is overseen by a designated house parent. So we have our house parents' phone numbers as well as WhatsApp numbers, so we can contact them at any time for whatever it is that we may need. We also have occasional meetings within our huddle groups to discuss any news or upcoming events. So yeah, and it's not just the house parents that are assigned to us, like they're all there to provide support and encouragement and care for us. So.
That's great. In terms of those huddles that you're part of, you know, can you just go through how the huddle works? Because if people aren't kind of familiar with the boarding, it might be worth them just getting a kind of picture about how it works and how many people kind of are in that huddle, I suppose.
So if I were to give an example of my huddle, so it's all girls and we're separated onto like separate floors based on, I think like everyone's around like 16 to 19 in my huddle. And we have like occasional meetings and we have a WhatsApp group, as I mentioned. So we're all in like close contact.
Fantastic. And in terms of kind of meeting, you kind of said you meet together. Could you just talk us kind of, you know, when you are kind of signing in in the evening with your kind of house parents, and how it kind of works in terms of weekends as well? You know, when are you expected kind of in and out, those kind of side of things?
Of course. So on weekdays for older students, our curfew is 10 p.m. So what we do is we go to our common rooms and register with our house parents. So they see us then. And once again, if we have like any issues that we want to discuss with them, they're free at that time as well. And on weekends, it's 11:30. So it gives us like a little bit of time if we want to stay out or just like speak to them at a later time.
Excellent. And just in terms of during the week then, so what kind of time are you expected, you know, down in the morning and all those kind of things as well?
So on weekdays, we have to be downstairs by 8:35 or 8:40, I think. And so there's two house parents, either in the kitchen or on the house parent desk to welcome us. And on the weekends, I think we have to register by 11 because breakfast finishes at 11. So yeah.
Okay, great. So I mean, there are kind of stretched times where you're expected to be a different place at different times. You know, just in terms of, I think boarding's obviously gives a different dimension to people's lives in schooling. Food is very important in there because people really, you know, one of the biggest things that people pick out sometimes is that, you know, it's sleeping and eating and kind of, you know, doing those key things. So what can you say about some of the food that you're kind of you have?
food in the college is great. We also have a cafe in the kitchen where we can get like drinks or snacks. On the weekends, we have brunch as well from 11 a.m. to about 1 p.m. And it's great. We have so many options. There's vegetarian, and one of my friends, she's lactose intolerant as well. We have a wide range of like desserts and meat options as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So the flexibility of being kind of, you said you've been in boarding before. You're now in a boarding setting in central London. How does that work? How do you feel? Do you like that setting compared to your previous boarding kind of experiences?
Yeah, I love it because it lets me take advantage of the fact that I'm in London, because I feel like our location is a very important aspect, because as soon as we step out of DLD, there are bikes that we can rent, which is great, and we have a park nearby, as well as like some shops and cafes like Starbucks or Pizza Express, and we're also closely located to 3 stations. So there's Westminster, Waterloo, and Lambeth North. So yeah, it's great. Or we could just take like a walk on like Westminster Bridge or London Eye.
Okay, perfect. So being kind of in the centre of London, it gives you lots and lots of different opportunities that you're really taking advantage of. That's great to hear. Okay, so Mahira, thanks ever so much for your just insights in the boarding culture within the college. And now we're going to move to Sophia, who's going to talk about the living and studying with British students. So Sophia, can you give us an insight?
Hello again to everyone. I hope you can all hear me well. I have a bit of issues with my computer, it's quite old. So as I'm sure you are already aware, DLD is an international school, which consequently means that a big part of the members of our community is from all over the world, from Siberia and Kazakhstan to Brazil, Canada, etc., etc. Some of these students, much like myself, are boarders, whilst others are in fact day students. And this is absolutely brilliant. It truly adds to making our community not only a big one, but also a hugely diverse one. However, I'm sure that the primary reason some of the people may want to come to study in one of London's schools is to truly get that UK experience, not only from a linguistic point of view, so with the interest to further develop your English, for example, focus on that, but also in order to sort of immerse yourself into how it truly is to live in the London's community, how it is to live in the UK overall. Well, fear not, because as stated previously, our community is truly a big one, and a good part of the people who compose it are in fact British students. Just like some of you perhaps, many of the members of our community are transfer students from different schools all over the UK. The subject is Charlotte and Tudor will get later more into detail with as well. They'll talk more about that experience. And but yes, in DLD we study side by side with people from all over the world, including from the UK. They are for the most part day students who live with their families. However, I can assure you that even if you are a boarder, you won't fail to meet them or the other day students for the matter. In fact, I'm a boarder myself and will continue to board next year too. And whilst I do have amazing friends in boarding, the group I spend my time with constantly is composed mostly by day students. And most of them are doing completely unrelated subjects to mine's too. I'm a humanities student, and the subjects I do are history, classical civilizations, literature, and drama. So if you have any questions on that too, do not hesitate to ask. But even then, many of my friends do scientific subjects, art or other. I did meet these people prior to enrolling into the school. I met them on the induction days between classes, in the study areas, in our global kitchen, in my tutor periods. So whilst we mostly spend our time in school, even sometimes during the weekend, thanks to them, I truly was able to see the best of London from the perspective of a local, very much. Truly get that, as I said before, UK experience. And it's great, it's really great. There's really no other city like London. It's truly such a diverse place. There's something for everyone here. So do not worry about making friendships here at DLD. Like Juan said before, on this account, if you are a future student and you're stressed about arrivals or enrollments and such, do not worry, truly. One of the things that DLD is truly great at is at bringing people together. And I know that sounds cheesy, but that's just how it is. So whether it be in our lessons or during breaks, in our elevators, or in the study areas provided by the school, I guarantee you from a very much recent amazing personal experience that you'll make great friendships in no time.
Thank you, Sophia. Now, I just wanted to pick out now, you know, we haven't necessarily looked at kind of remote learning. And if we're talking about studying, it'd be a good opportunity to just pick your brains at the moment. Just how has that experience been, you know, moving from physical to virtual classroom and studying, and what's the experience brought you?
Well, it's quite different. It was quite weird at the beginning, for example, because well, we're living in quite weird times at the moment with everything that's happening. But to be honest, I might go as far as to say that it's quite a useful experience, and there's a lot of benefits to it as well, because well, it is different and it's quite tough, especially for me. I'm not in the country, and as I said again, most of my friends are from the UK, so I really don't get to see them much during this, won't get to see them much during this holiday. But at the same time, thanks to technology, they're just a call away. And to be honest, that's the same with school as well. Every teacher is absolutely available to either over email or absolutely available to discuss anything, any questions you have, especially for us. Like, for example, I have, as many of us do, my progressions exams coming on this next week, and my teachers are absolutely available to help me, to assist me in whatever I need. So from that point of view, it's absolutely useful and quite efficient, even, because we're always connected.
Right, and perhaps if you could just give a quick overview of that kind of Canvas system, because not many people may have heard of Canvas before.
Yes.
But you're using Canvas for your teaching, to
Yep.
your studying. Just if you could just kind of tap into that and just give everyone an overview quick.
So our Canvas system is not only a register in a way, so it's basically, it's the app that the school uses, and each lesson you're assigned on to, you have your own individual groups in. So, and in the sections, in each section of each classroom, you have the assignments, the files the teachers upload. You can join them into a conference. There's chat boxes that can either go live, or you can just ask teachers questions and they'll respond in their due time, or you can email them at this. And it's absolutely efficient, to be honest, because everything's very much categorized and it's really hard to lose yourself in it. It's, once you get the hang of it, it's really, really easy to use and absolutely helps you to be efficient with all of your work. It shows you when you have to get your papers in, for example, or it's the deadlines and stuff like that. It alerts you of work that is overdue, of work that you haven't done, or the assignments that are coming up. Absolutely efficient, to be honest.
Fantastic. Okay, good. So I think it's been a huge learning curve for a lot of people, getting up and running to remote learning. But it's great to hear that it's been an efficient kind of experience, and it's been useful and thought-provoking as well about how you're learning, I suppose, in this kind of situation. So thanks for that. And now we're going to move over to Adam, who's going to talk about studying in an international school. Adam, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Hi guys, once again, my name is Adam, and as Tom said, I'm going to be speaking to you guys about benefits of an international school. So for me personally, I think one of the best things I did was study at an international school for many different reasons. I feel like, firstly, there's a whole different international environment specifically with DLD. When I first came to DLD, to be honest, I was expecting an international school, people from different backgrounds and different environments, but the mix of people, and it's not like there's a majority of one or another. It's really people from all around the world I'm seeing in all of my different classes. And I think that's something that's really beneficial, because me personally, it helped me learn about new cultures, interact with new cultures, and just understanding people's moral values that I didn't before, and also just making new friends around the world. So I think that's something that's really beneficial, and that's something that international school definitely gives you. Also something that relates to that is I'm personally not a boarder. I'm a day student at DOD, but with the boarding, I think it really is an experience to be living in a school with people from all around the world, international school, and you can make friends, you can interact with people from all around the world. And with the teachers as well, I feel like academically this also has an effect, because the teachers also come from different cultures and they understand other people's different views and cultures, so they can kind of put that into their learning and make sure that everybody's understanding what's happening. And I think that's something that really stands out. Something else is this is specific to DOD, we have the Global Kitchen, which is our cafeteria, and it also does appreciate all the different backgrounds and makes dishes from all around the world. And yeah, I just think it really is an experience to study in an international school, because not only academically is it very strong, but it's also helps you learn about different people, interact with different people that you don't really get the chance to do in your everyday life. And
fantastic, yeah. Adam, that's great. And obviously very kind of experience for you coming into the college, having those interactions with different people, and really having very close friendship group, across that community.
So like in our friendship groups, honestly, there's everybody's from a different culture. In a lot of friendship groups, everyone's from a different country, different background, and it really does kind of open your eye to the rest of the world and make you aware of a lot of different things.
Thank you so much, Adam. That's really great to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're going to move on to two people. We're going to start with Charlotte and then on to Tudor. And they're both going to reflect on their own experiences moving from a UK school to DLD college. So Charlotte, would you start us off, please?
Yes. So when I moved from a UK school to DLD, the transition was very minimal. And there was really no fear factor. DLD is pretty professional at getting everyone to come together. Prior to actually starting our academic journey together, we had 3 days where we just get to know each other. There's obstacle courses, and we sit and talk to each other and really become a group. So when you sit next to each other in class on the first Monday, you know who you're sitting next to and what their personalities are and how you can work together to have the best academic year possible. I also worried when I joined DLD that there wouldn't be an extracurricular activity program that was very strong, because we live in the centre of London, but I was very much mistaken when I joined. Because we live in the centre of London, there is so much to offer. On Wednesdays, there's boxing down near Waterloo, and there's drama club that happens just underneath. There's strength and conditioning, and these are all strong parts of the college that we really encourage. There's a debating team, and of course there's DAV that happens every year, bronze, silver and gold, which is really encouraged. And I thought because it was an international school, that wouldn't be a strong aspect, but it really is. Another difference that happens every year is the progression exams. These are really important, and I hadn't had that previously at my old school. It really just solidifies your understanding, and I feel like we have these progression exams because there's lots of different cultures. We want to understand everything, and this is possible because of that. Tudor is going to discuss the benefits now of an international minded school.
Okay, thank you, Charlotte.
Hello. So I'm Tudor. I moved from a British school overseas, from Romania. So I think the moving to an international school was really interesting to me. Personally, it's been a great experience so far, and most of my friends in DLD can agree with that. I think what's the key aspect of moving to an international minded school is just the culture and everything you learn from other people that come from basically all around the world. So I think if you're looking to grow as a person, and if you really want to develop your understanding of the world and just take a next step, I think international school can help you do that. And in DLD and in our school, there is a place for everyone, because everything is so diversified. Given the fact that we have people from all around the world, it's just people come together in a very, very beautiful way. There's obviously advantages and disadvantages. I mean, you're not at home, and you have to consider that. But for me, it's been very interesting. It's like a next step. You're moving away from home, and you start to grow as an individual. So that's what's for me.
Perfect. Just for a question for both of you, I suppose, is to what extent is DLD that step diversity? Because it's often people talk about, you know, as good grounding area for university. So I know both of you are a little bit away, obviously, like the university application at the moment, but perspectives about that kind of greater independence, the greater sense of responsibility about what you do. Charlotte, should we start with you?
I would love to, except I didn't hear much of that because it was a bit glitchy.
Okay,
Sorry.
so just to say very quick, we are very kind of preparing for university. I think, you know, a lot of people say real good preparation, really good preparation for university, kind of great sense of independence, a greater sense of responsibility. Just wonder what your thoughts on those things were.
Yeah, certainly. When you join DLD, everybody is given a DOS. Your DOS is your director of studies. These people are going to be the ones that you look to, and they help guide you to which university courses you have A-levels that will help you get there. So these are the people you sit down with that help you write your UCAS, look at universities, send you to different people that can help you add things to your UCAS and write down applications. DLD is very good at sending you to some of the best colleges in London, and they're trained to do this. Tudor is going to be attending university next year and can tell you more. Your DOS is a very key and important person that you will meet with multiple times a year, and they will make sure your academic studies are what they need to be so you can attend your university course that you want to.
Charlotte and Tudor?
Yes, so going to university is an interesting process, and DLD is a place where you can find the help. For example, my DOS helped me. I personally was interested in also universities in the US, so my DOS helped me find a website and get more information about this and just learn how the skills necessary for that. And we're gonna start the UCAS preparation soon, and we already learned a lot about it, but we just have to start getting on with it and writing our essays, and then we're gonna send them and receive feedback. And just, yeah, I think something to add to it is that an international school can boost your application because it's a different kind of experience that you have. So I think that's a good thing to consider in your application.
Great. Okay. Thanks ever so much, both of you. That's really the end of the kind of experience, I suppose, through the eyes of the student section. I wonder at the moment, I wonder whether there's any kind of questions coming through. And if not, please do, as John said, the chat facility within Zoom to post any that we might be able to answer. So, John, do you want to take it?
Hi there. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, guys. I mean, that was really, really interesting, and thank you for sharing your kind of insights into your experiences, and also thank you for taking time in your half term. So I really appreciate that. I know you're all probably at home, but really appreciate you kind of taking some time to kind of help us out and answer some questions. Guys, and I'm talking to everyone attending, please feel free to post any questions you have. I see we have one from Alexander, which my colleague Athena has asked. There is one question there from DD, which I can't actually see, so I don't know if there's a question there that we can raise. I will ask you to, if you can at all, if you want to unmute yourselves, guys. I see a few people raising their hands, and I will allow you to speak so that you can ask questions. So, Dee, I've just raised you there, and I will unmute you. So please feel free to put your questions to the guys as I allow you to speak.
Okay, so shall I take? I can see the chat function here.
Happy to see, Tom. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Don't know if you can see any that I can see. I think there's a few that I may not be able to see for some reason.
So I think the first question I'll pick out, because I think Athena, Alexander's question there is, hi, it's very important to know that children, when they go out in such safe, how do we help such a big city are there to safely explore London? And more details at weekends. Are there any sports or activities? Okay, so would anyone like to pick that out? So first, how do we know that you are, first of all, in London? Because it is a huge city. Probably one for the borders here, particularly. You might want to reach as well, just kind of in there. So anybody would like to pick it up?
Yeah, can I? Sorry, go ahead. No, it's okay, you can go ahead. You sure?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so actually one of the main concerns that my parents had, but they're now very happy with the fact that our school, they really do prioritize our safety. If I were to give an example, we wear lanyards at all times. So every time we go out, we have to tap out saying, and so there's like options as to where we can go, such as like Knightsbridge or Chinatown or Oxford Circus. So we tap on the location that we're going to. And as I mentioned before, we have curfews as well. And I think for under 16 students, it's 9:30. And for over 16s, it's 10 p.m. on weekends.
Right, yeah. And just explain maybe the reach system, because obviously a bit different from a lot of boarding schools, because a lot of pen and paper, and you have to say where you're going from and when you're coming, all those kind of things. So how does reach, what does that mean? Again.
So basically it's like a sign out sheet, but it's online, so it's on the computers. And the house parents, they have like little tablets where they can like see where we tapped out saying that we're gonna go and for how long we're out for. So I feel like that's like a reassurance that parents can have, that our like location is like monitored at all times. And like I said, the school, they really do prioritize our safety, especially because we are in such a big city.
Excellent, thank you, Mahira. Yeah, absolutely. Now, just to say about the activities program over the weekend, and maybe there's somebody who's been on recently, but obviously over the past few months. Would anyone like to pick anything out from there?
I can talk about that.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Well, so during the weekends, especially for boarders, I presume that that's also what interests you. As I think I think Mahira mentioned before, we share a building with different student accommodations. So there's DLD, and there's our school and our accommodations, and then there's a different bit of building which is occupied by a different by Urbanist. And what Urbanist provides, we're allowed to use it in terms, that section in terms of study areas, but also in terms of the gym and for example, the pool section. So you can actually subscribe. I have a subscription. I would go and I would go to the gym in the morning sometimes, and I would go and use the pool, for example, and that's absolutely allowed. In terms of activities organized by the school, there's actually many of them. So, and the house parents work hard in order to organize different activities for each weekend, for each day of the weekend as well. So, for example, some of the activities we had were we went to laser tag. There's the opportunities to see plays, musicals. We even went to jump on the elastic. Oh God, I don't remember how they're called. But yeah, there is a variety of activities that the school actually organizes and provides. There's honestly, you don't have time to get bored. Honestly, if you sign up to those activities, you spend your day out with your friends, with your groups, and with the school, and a house parent, probably a house attendant. So yeah, you have absolutely the space, and that helps you explore even more of London, even from that point of view as well.
As well, I think if we also have, if it's not in the weekend, during the week, we have stuff called CCAs, which are also activities and events and things that are run by the school. For example, I'm part of the football team. There's a lot of different sports teams that you can participate in, training and matches during the week, and just a lot of different CCAs that meet everybody's interests, to be honest.
Yeah. Especially now that the school has reorganized, we have a backyard in our school, and the school has used this difficult time to sort of rebuild it, and we now have a basketball/football, so we can actually do that on the school premises.
Yeah, I think there definitely is something for everyone. There's something to do for everybody.
Yeah.
Perfect, great, thank you for that. So yeah, plenty of things in London. I think my connection was a bit unstable then, but plenty of things to do, and the fact that we exploit a lot of really the house parents put a great tremendous program on, but sports and activities that we also have in kind of available to students is very as well. So just looking at another question there from it says, if you need more maths lessons or physics lessons, can you request additional lessons or other support from the teachers? Would anyone like to answer that one?
I can answer. Well,
okay, Adam.
About a separate lesson, I'm not really sure how that would work, but with the DLD teachers, they're very, very helpful. And for example, with me, I was struggling a bit with my business studies with A-level. So me and my teacher, every single week we meet, we go over my weak points, if I need any help in anything, and they really are always there. And always you can reach them by email, you can arrange a session to meet with them, an extra lesson if you would want. And honestly, that's just up to you and the teacher and how you can organize that with them. And I think all of the time the teachers are always willing to give some extra help and guidance in order for you to do as best as you can.
Okay, great. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, please come
on. Tom, we've just had one more question come through the Q&A from Aurora. She's just asked, is it possible for students to visit cities such as London, Cambridge, Manchester by themselves?
Yeah, I could answer that. I'm not sure. I think there's different rules for students under 16 and over 16, depending on the age. But I think if you're under 16, you need parents' permission. You just have to talk to the house parents, and when you use the Reach card and you tap out of the school, if you're a boarder, you will have to talk to the house parents and tell them where you're going. And I think that's possible. I mean, I visited Cambridge and I just had to talk to the house parents, and I had permission.
I think.
Okay,
Sorry. If you're under 16, so you just need someone to sign out with, like a guardian or someone who's over 25, and then you can just spend a night with them over there. But if you're over 16, you cannot just go by yourself. You need to be in groups of 3, or you need to have someone there, and then you will be given a taxi by the school. So it will be all arranged for you.
Thank you, Sarah.
And do the school organise trips at all?
Would anyone like to?
We do have some whole college activities, and we have them hung up on the elevators or in the walls, and then they arrange these activities every term, and they're there for you to sign up.
Yeah, for example, we had a Nepal trip, which was meant for summer, I think, or the summer term, not sure, but it got cancelled. But there are, at the beginning of the year, there's always a trip with the student council. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so can I up on that one? So I think, yeah, in terms of the obviously Cambridge is only an hour or so away, so that's for Tudor, who's, you know, kind of year 12, that's too much to kind of expect. But if we're talking going much further, obviously as already picked out, there are guardians that we would expect our students to be kind of signing out to, and they have to go through strict kind of in order to become a guardian. As we've heard, you have to be over 25, you have to obviously have been nominated by a parent, etc., and have kind of the necessary checks done. If it was a day trip, obviously, yeah, age dependent. Somebody, you know, 16 or below, yeah, very strict regulation around that. But obviously, the conversations about particular times and days or cities is there with the house parents to decide and talk through. But it would have to be, you know, they would be coming back the same. Cambridge is an hour away. I think, Judy, if you went to Cambridge, you're probably back the same day. You're having a look around. But if it's field, obviously that's a different type of situation to be in. Now I realise it's 11 o'clock. I don't know if John, is that kind of our time allowance is up, or how do we run?
Well, we can if we have some more questions, I'm happy to go on a little bit longer. No problem at all. If there are any more questions to address.
Perfect. Any questions from any other parts? So I think what the things I'd just like to pick out, obviously there's some great insights there from all, and I'd just like to echo really what John said there. This is half term, this is their own time, and just really say a huge thank you to them for their own time, their insights. You know, we haven't prepped them at all. They're talking from their own and their own views, and that's very important as well, that they and that chance to talk through and give you their insights. DLD is a very exciting place to be. It's not only the location, it's the students, it's the staff, it's the community that make it what it is. I'm very proud of working there. I think it's something, if you look around at different schools, it's unique in many ways. We have a very strong community of international students around a sense of respect and kindness. All of those students that you've heard today are amazing ambassadors for it. I hope you've got a good sense today of the student that we have, the type of place that we live, study in, and I really hope that if you have questions that we can answer those. If not, obviously that you can ask the relevant sales team rep within your area. But I just wanted to say to the group that you've heard from today, and on to you as also for listening and to being here.
Brilliant. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone for participating today and giving such lovely answers. As Tom mentioned, we will be in touch. We'll send you a copy of the recording, and obviously, if you do have any follow-up questions for Tom or any of the team at DRD or any of the students at DRD, please do put those back to us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But I think from us guys for this morning, we'll finish up there and just say thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.